Hello everyone, this is your 5 and welcome to the Global Central Tutorial Review. And today's we're looking at the 2010 release by Revoltech of the Sci-Fi Revoltech Series, and we're looking at series number 10 featuring Woody from Toy Story. Now I got this straight from a friend of mine who bought this directly from Japan. Yes, Japan, for 2,850 yen. That's the price tag there. This is equivalent to 114 ringgit, and a lot of toy shops in Malaysia is selling this for 149 ringgit and 90 cents, which is a huge difference amount compared to the one that I actually got straight from Japan here. Now, in the front part packaging, you got a nice little image of Woody. He's smiling and he's tipping his head with his finger. Very nicely done. A lot of amount of details being put onto the figure itself. That's what I love about Revoltech. But we'll take a look at a closer up on the detail of the figure itself later on. Let's continue on with the packaging by opening the door. Inside of the panel itself, you got a lot of write-up in Japanese, which I have no idea what it says there. There's a lot of Japanese language there, but there's a lot of images. Top corner here you got bullseye. Bottom section here you got all the screenshot stills from all three movies, the first, second, and even the third movie. Here you got a nice little window to display the rest of the accessories plus Woody there. Very, very nice with a lot of accessories. Onto the side, it shows a little bit information on what Revoltech is all about, detailing about the joints itself, but they no longer use this sort of larger joints, because for figures like Woody, because his frame, especially on the arms and legs, is rather thin, they have to use this very small Revoltech joints, which you have to be extra careful. At the bottom it shows you on how to twist the joints and how to pull out the joint using a plier. And speaking of plier, straight from Japan, a Revo pliers, which they do sell it in Japan over there, where you use the Revo pliers to pull out the joints. Very nicely done. So you don't need to use those actual metallic pliers, because sometimes it will just cause more damage to the plastic joints itself. By using a Revo pliers, at least you won't do too much damage to the very fragile, very thin Revoltech joints. Now on the side here you got a nicer image of Woody, and at the back showcasing Woody there holding Lenny the binocular, or holding Mike's, well, Mike. Now the extra feature for the figure itself is the movable eyes, as you can see there. The eyes can be moved. You can remove the face and then, well, tilt the eyeballs from the inside. Very nicely done. Now that's all the packaging itself. Let's open up this packaging so we can molest the toy. Be right back. And we're back after removing the figure and the rest of the stuff out from packaging. Now every Revoltech packaging, they usually come with a catalog, and this time it came with two, and one of them showcased the upcoming clear version of the Alien Revoltech figure. Very nicely done. And the rest of the upcoming stuff, like Batman with, well, a stone base, not actual stone, of course, and the rest of the stuff as well. Everything is in Japanese, and this is the January lineup. Now you will be wondering, how do you get the Revo pliers? Now let me explain to you. The Revo pliers is actually a pure plastic material. There's no metallic parts into it, so it will make it easy for you to pull out the joints without damaging them. You notice on the side here there's a hole, and at the tip there's a hole, so it pulls out the joints quite easily, but it only works on the medium and the larger Revoltech joints. Anything smaller you have to, well, grab it from the ball itself. So this can be obtained to a little bit of information from this catalog, and it costs 30, as you can see, 30 Revoltech points. Each coin here costs 10 points. So for 30 points you get the plier and the box for you to store more stuff. And for 50 points you also can get a smaller figure. For 100 points you can get any of the older series. Or for 100 points, a random stuff. A bag full of random stuff. 2 t-shirts, 2 boxes, a Revoltech plier, and among other stuff, plus any of this stuff. Very nicely done. This is all the older series now. And here it details on the information what's Revoltech. So we get to find out what the coin is all about and how to obtain the plier. Here we have the upcoming lineup, or the current lineup, and the Sci-Fi Revoltech Series. Now let's take a look at the accessories here. First we have the coin. 10 Revoltech coin. Since 2006. Got a little box here for you to store all the smaller items, including the mic and the face. Can be opened like so. Then we have a nameplate that stated Woody. At the bottom, bracketed, stated Toy Story. At the bottom of the nameplate itself, there's a hole for you to plug it to any place else. Next, comes with 2 hands. One of them is Buzz Lightyear, the other is Woody. And you notice there's 2 pegs at the palm there. The pegs is to connect Lenny. At the side there, there's a hole. So for Woody or Buzz Lightyear to hold Lenny, there you go. Very nicely done. And speaking of Lenny, let's take a look at Lenny here. Lenny has very little paint job. The red parts here and the legs are painted, so does the eyes. But the entire body is pure plastic material, as you can see. And no, this cannot be turned. And the legs have no articulation, which is a bit disappointing, but it's still alright. It's a nice little accessory here. Very nicely done. Nicely detailed stuff, as you can see there. There's a dial on top which you can't turn, of course. Very nice. Then it comes with other hands, like open hands. 2 different open hands. There's also another open hand there. A pointing finger hand. You can see. Also a grabby hand for you to hold, for Woody to hold Mike's mic. As you can see, very colorful stuff. Orange, yellow, blue. They can hold it quite well. Very nicely done. At the back of the packaging is, well, taped with this piece. Now this entire tool here is, it allows you to adjust Woody's eyes, as shown like so. The back here there are 2 pegs, and there's a hole or a hook for you to hook around to move the eyes, or you plug it like so to move the eyes to whichever direction that you want the eyes to move. Now for the face, it comes with 2 faces, which is rather disappointing. I really want another face. You got a smiling face like, well, as shown in the packaging, or a really very mischievous face, or what most people would call it, the rapist face. Yes, Woody's rapist face. Now I really wish it does come with another 3rd face, which shows Woody very angry or perhaps very serious face, like shown in all the Toy Stories, well, movies, where Andy is playing with Woody and there's a lot of imagination showing Woody having a lot of serious tone face, especially on the 3rd movie there. I really wish it came with the 3rd face, but 2 faces is still alright. Now the entire face sculpt is very nicely detailed stuff, especially on the paint job. The hair is painted brown, but a little bit of scratches there. Minor annoyances, but it's still okay. The eyebrow, one side of the eyebrow is higher than the other one. The cheeks are painted, very nicely done. The teeth, the row of teeth there, very nicely done with the details. That's the back. The eyes is also nicely done with the eyes, very detailed stuff. And this face is rather humorous, and that's the whole reason why I wanted to buy this Revoltech figure for this weight face. Very nice. The other one is Woody's normal face, as you can see here. Very nicely done with the details. And you can easily pop out the face like so. There's two pegs there and there's two holes on the top. Woody also come with his trusty old hat. Now at the bottom of the hat you notice there's some edges popping out because it's meant to fit at the corner of his hair, so it won't fall all over the place like so. Very nice. Now let's take a look at Woody's paint job. Woody's paint job is very colorful and very bright, very detailed stuff. Of course, you got the head itself that's painted very nicely done. Cheeks are painted, as you can see, and so does the row of teeth. But the bottom part of the lips itself is dark, very dark brown. So I really don't like it. It looks like he's wearing a bottom section of the black lipstick or something. Eyebrows is painted, very nicely done. The scarf is painted in red with, if you can notice, there's also designs on the scarf itself. Very nice, with all the white spots all over. He's wearing this long sleeve shirt which is painted in yellow with red lines all over, very nicely done. Buttons are painted in grey, as you can see. The cowskin vest is painted, very nicely done, especially on the edges. The edges is also painted, you can see. Very nice, all the hand sewn material. It looks like a hand sewn material. As you can see, the badge is also painted in gold. Back of the ring is painted in grey. Belt is painted in dark brown. Holster is as well painted. As you can see, there's a nice little paint job going on the side of the holster. There's a ring, and inside the ring there's a red ruby. Very nice. The belt buckle is also painted in gold. Jeans is painted in blue. The leather boots is painted in dark brown. Back of the heel spurs are painted in a dull gold. Very nice. And the best part of it, at the bottom of the boots is written Andy. Very nice. Very nicely done with the paint job. Very detailed stuff. If you're a fan of Toy Story, this is very nicely done. Now for the sculpt is amazing, especially on the head sculpt. Two of the head sculpts there, very nicely done. Very detailed stuff. Eyebrows is sculpted, the hair is very nicely sculpted as well. Cheeks, very nice. A lot of nice little facial expression being shown there. Side of the ears is also sculpted. My god. Now the vest is also sculpted, so that's the edges there as well. Even the lines, very nice, very small little detailed stuff they put onto this. You notice the red lines shown all over the yellow shirt. Yes, the lines are sculpted. So that's the bottom section of the shirt itself. This section here is also sculpted. Buttons, even the sheriff logo, the word sheriff is sculpted. Back of the ring itself is also sculpted. Of course, you can't pull out this ring. The most impressive detail is the belt buckle, because it shows the cow skeletal head. Very nicely done. Side of the holster itself, very nicely done with the details. The jeans is also very nice. Back pockets, the zipper, very nice. All the wrinkles as well. The boots, very nice. Another nice thing about this sculpt is, because Woody is supposed to be a sort of like a doll made of cotton, and his joints in the movie itself shows that in between the joints itself it's all very thin out. You can see that's how they're gonna do it, but with the ball joint it makes it less like how it's shown in the movie. But it's a nice little effort, as you can see, as in between of the joints itself, it's all like a little bit flattened out. Very nicely done. So that's on the legs as well. Bottom part of the boots itself, nicely sculpted with the heel spurs. Very nice with this sculpt. Now for the articulation, Woody has two neck joints. Top part of the neck joint here, as shown like so. I'm going to pull out the face. That's the joint there. You can actually move the head up like so. The bottom section of the neck move downward or up like so, and turn the head 360 degrees like so. Shoulder joints here is on a Revoltech joint that can turn 360 degrees like so, or go up, inwards. Upper bicep turn 360 degrees. Elbow joint here can go inward, outward, turn 360 degrees. Wrist joint here can go inward, outward, and also turn 360 degrees. Typical Revoltech joint, of course. Torso here can go backwards, forward a little bit, turn 360 degrees. Now for the hip joints is a little bit annoying because the way they put the pegs, they don't put it straight upwards or to the side. They put it while facing to the butt. So he can move the legs forward, backwards with no problem. But turning to the sides will be a little bit annoying because you have to work around with it. Swivel tie that turn 360 degrees. Knee joints that bend this far and turn 360 degrees. So shown like so. Bottom of the heel here, the ankles here can turn 360 degrees, go inwards and outwards, or also side to side like so. Very nicely done. Very detailed stuff and loads of fun too, especially, well, to those who wants to play around with the rape face. Woody and his rape face. It's very unnatural when you have this figure and then you pose it around with the Queen's Blade figure and he's trying to rape them. Yes, that's what I'm gonna do with Woody here. It's a lot of fun. A lot of people in Japan are doing this as well. So it's really nice, but I'm really wishing for a third face, a serious face. And for this entire thing, with a lot of accessories and everything else, it doesn't even come with a base stand, which is a little bit disappointing. But overall, the entire figure is absolutely perfect. Despite there's a little bit scratches onto the hat itself and a little bit of paint smudge at the bottom of the torso, but no one's gonna see it anyway since he's actually covered it. But really nice figure. Just it's too bad there's no base stand for Woody to stand around because it's really hard to try to pose the figure to have him stand properly without tipping all over the place. But really nice accessories there. Really nice. So if I'm gonna give a rating out of this, I would say Woody is among my favorite of all the Revoltech figures. And I'm gonna give it a nice 10 out of 10 there. 10 out of 10 for Woody, for the Sci-Fi Revoltech series, number 10. I thank you all for watching. This is Lucy05 and I'm signing off.